Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nick Nickham, and my special guest today is Gopaal Seyn. Is that correct? Did I say it correctly? Okay.
Yes.
Gopaal Seyn, and he is an artist, and he's going to tell us about his fascinating journey as to how, from doing art, which is like a modern art, is that right?
Contemporary art.
Contemporary art, all the way into the hallways of the Houston Intercontinental Airport. What a fascinating journey.
Thank you.
Gopal, you have a different spelling from most other people. Maybe tell about your name, how you spell it, and tell us about your art background, art school, and then we'll get into how you got the opportunity to do the contemporary art painting for the Houston Intercontinental Airport.
You got a lot of questions in
I know.
So let me like break it down. Like you referred to that name. I used to. My full name is Indranil Seyn, and that's how during my corporate life I used to be known as Neil. Americanized to Neil.
Yeah.
And then when I started painting, I wanted to have a pseudonym, and I put Gopaal Seyn. And because my grandfather used to call me Gopaal Seyn. Around 2000 and I would say 15, Sanjay Jumani, who's a very well-known numerologist you may have heard of in Indian Bollywood circle, he has renamed Ajay Devgan and Hrithik Roshan's name. All the movies they do, they change the name, they add like a alphabet to it.
I see.
Happened to be Asia. TV Asia had brought her from India to do some show and just kind of get to some clients. So I had a very good friend who referred me and said, why don't you call? I was in a class and I'm I just hesitantly called and he picked up and he said so what's your name? And I said Gopaal Seyn and I'm an artist and And he said well, your date of birth is a Ferrari and your name is a flat tire. I'm okay. And he said, well, I'm what do I do? He said, you have to change your name to Gopaal Seyn.
Seyn. Okay. This is very unique spelling. We don't see that very often.
No.
Okay, tell us about how you got into the art and about your art school that you have in Houston.
Yes, I've been having my, I've been teaching for the last 25 years. Taught over 5,000 students all over the community, and then I launched my Red Blue Arts Academy, which I used to teach in Sugar Land itself, and then I bought my own gallery in just opposite Slumberjay. It's called the Red Blues Art Academy in Industrial Boulevard, and that I opened during COVID. Unfortunately, at that time, I couldn't get any people to come. So I started doing online. So I was teaching people all over the country, and it actually blossomed. It's a bad time, but for me it was a good time. I got so many students from all over the country. Even people from Russia, China, India started joining me. So I was teaching I did around. I remember I was looking at the numbers, around 6,000 classes during COVID. I was teaching all the time because I felt like kids needed that. They couldn't go outside, they couldn't play, they couldn't do art. So my online classes, and I've heard parents tell me time and again that your classes made them survive through COVID because you were teaching them. I used to give them homework, keep them busy, and they would love it, and they blossomed. And it made my day because
just to give a little background about your style of art. So, what materials do you use? You use canvas, I assume.
Dr. Nick, I teach. I draw in different things. Every morning, I don't know whether you know, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I do my regular meditation for half an hour. Then do a worship. Then I talk to my mom in India for half an hour, and then I start painting. But I don't paint at that time. I do charcoal and pastels in a paper. That's what I do. On a regular basis, that's what I do because it's easier to keep. Let me ask you. So when I have my collectors or other clients call me, they look at those and say, oh, I love this, can you make it into a canvas?
I see.
That's when I make
so
it
this is like a template.
Exactly. It's like a, a portfolio you create,
yeah.
which is much easier to see.
That's true, yeah.
Yes. So I have thousands and thousands of pictures because every day, no matter what happens, I do 1 to 2 pictures every single day. So do the maths, it comes to a lot.
So what's the theme of your pictures? Are they different? And what's the main theme?
So there's no theme at all. I think I'm a contemporary artist and I paint what I think of, what I dream of, what I visualize. It comes from nowhere, from my subconscious mind. In the morning, once I do my meditation, I feel something and I let my subconscious talk to me and I use the energy around me to help me draw. So to be honest with you, half of the time, not half of the time, 80 to 90% of the time I have no idea what I'm going to draw. And then I start drawing it and slowly some images slowly start coming in and I start working on it and then I get a track and I let the analytical mind, like you all kind of look at the painting and say, oh, I can see this. Some of the times collectors tell me, I can see this, and I'm like, I didn't see it. so that's the beauty of art, because true art is something which should be like, enjoyed, and you have to feel it, and you can see through it. If you are thinking about something, like we are talking, I don't know, like, what we are talking, then it comes naturally. Art should be natural. If you know exactly what you're going to draw, then it becomes an imitation. It takes away from the original. And I feel like, to me, that is very important. So going back to what you said, I do like, sketches. I do like a lot of, pastel and charcoal. And then I do canvas acrylic.
So I've seen many of your paintings.
Into my gallery also, right?
And a lot of them are about people. Do you have mainly people's theme, or you have different themes? Like some people do landscapes, some people do portraits, some people do,
I absolutely don't do landscapes. No, mine is people. You're absolutely right. You've seen it. I try to show the emotion of people, especially women. I think, I love the emotional. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm staring at that person. He's trying to say something, but he's showing something else. So I kind of do the polarity of emotions in women also. And I try to kind of visualize. I show women as a lover, as a mother, as a career woman. So I try to build up on it, and that's been my kind of signature style, you could say, and my art, because you have seen it, I have a particular signature style which is over the years. So you can see any of my painting and say, oh, this is Gopaal Seyn's painting, and that's what I want to be known for.
Okay, Gopal, let's talk about, I have seen you also doing charity work for various non-profit organizations, and you have done on-stage paintings and all this. Tell us about those things.
So I love doing them because, I want my art to be for a greater cause. A lot of the times we may not have the money to do it, but I've been blessed with art, so I feel like, God has given me this creative ability, and I kind of utilize for this greater cause. So I've done like, Jugalbandi with Pandit Jasraj, last day for the last visit to Houston, and that was auctioned for $5,000. Then I've done like, live painting during COVID even with Anup Jalota ji, in India. He was singing in India, and India House did one, and I did like a live telecast there, and I did a painting which sold for under $4,000. I've done with Pratima Bedi, like fashion shows, which sold for like $6,000. So those are great things. It makes my work worthwhile.
Absolutely.
I don't care about the money, but it's like something we are doing it for the greater cause, for the greater day. And I've done with Akshay Patra. I've done with the
Indo-American Charity Foundation. I have seen your art and all these things. Okay, let's talk about the main thing, and that is your paintings gracing the walls of the Houston Intercontinental Airport. How this project start, and how did you get involved with this, and walk us through the entire journey?
It's a long journey, let's be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like being in the airport is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at airports in India, you will hardly see, other than M.F. Hussain or Paresh Maiti, you will hardly see any place. It's very, very difficult to get in the airport, because think of that. Airport is a place with millions
international
of people see it.
travelers.
Yes, all over the world are looking at it. And I wanted to do a theme which is like, I did like, global peace through music, world music.
Oh, I see, I see.
And thank to Alton, who's the curator, chief curator out there. He told me like I want to do something of that nature, and I created quite a few, sketches.
Yeah.
And then they selected out of that, and then I created it. But it's a long story, because I don't know whether you know, I went for a trade mission with Mayor Turner, who was a mayor before, a few years ago, to India, and Jagdeep Ahluwalia of IACCGA, like he was instrumental in taking me. So I went as a trade mission, like we had a group of 50 people.
Business people,
Yes, so I was I was the artist in the, and I did a live painting at the Taj Intercontinental Hotels in Bombay.
Fascinating.
And that painting was given, I believe, like some key representative out there. I think the ambassador or the chief consul.
I see.
And it was shown in big galleries in India. So it was a great thing, like an honor. And that time the mayor loved my painting. He said, I want you to do something for the airport.
I see.
That's how it started. But somehow
networking works.
yes. And everything was going well, but COVID struck and things got hidden under the carpet. Things went, and then I was talking to Dr. Jagdeep Ahluwalia, and he said like, what happened to the painting you were supposed to do for the airport? I'm like, I never heard of it. So he told me, why don't you write a letter to me, which I can pass it on to the mayor, stating that you want to do a painting for the Turner, like for the airport, and you had promised something of that nature. So I wrote a beautiful letter to the
mayor,
to Jagdeep Ahluwalia, and he kind of distributed to the mayor's office and everyone. And the airport, the lady who's in charge of the airport system, she picked up, she gave me a call and said, hey, we have a whole proposal system for you to go through. But I can introduce you to the chief curator. So I said, okay, fine, let me do that. So I met up with him. We really caught up very well. And he said, Gopal, I know there's a huge, long process in the proposal system, but if you can give me some sketches, I can check it out.
I see,
But I was ready. I had it ready beforehand. I showed him all the sketches, and he loved every one of them.
That's fascinating.
So he said, like, send it to me. So I sent it to him. He said, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. I never heard. So I called him back. I'm like, hey, Alton, what happened? He said, we are working on it. I need to show it to my bosses. And most anybody and everybody I have shown it loves it. But I still need to get an okay from the top boss. I'm like, okay, when do I call you? He said, next week. I call again next week. I'm like, Alton, I'm here. So I kept on calling. We went for 3 weeks. And finally he gave me a send. He said, Gopal, can you come and meet me at the airport? I decided. I went there. They had created a wall for me.
I see.
There the painting, because there used to be like British Airways,
Eminent. Club.
So they had taken that off, and the wall was created. So it's a huge wall. And he said, Gopal, I want you to do a painting out there. This is the measurement, and you go for it. So
the whole thing was done at the airport?
No. So I had the canvases, I ordered the canvases, and I did it at my studio. Unfortunately, it didn't fit in my studio. So I converted my garage into a studio.
I know.
Because it's so big, like 15 feet. So I covered it up. I had my maintenance guy cover up the whole place with plastic and paper underneath, and I put it all the canvases, because these are 3 big canvases which made into one.
I see,
So I did the whole painting again. I can tell you, Nick, it's a God's blessing. Because
I know.
I was a little skeptical, like, can I do it? And I was questioning myself. Yes, I've got this opportunity, but can I make it happen?
This is far bigger than an individual.
Exactly. It's a lot bigger than me, and honestly, I would start, and my wife was traveling to India at that time. I was all alone. Again, it was a blessing, because there was, I was all alone at my home. So I would do my prayers and start off at like 6:30 in the morning. And I swear to God, I looked at my watch the first day, it was 11 in the evening, and I had been painting all this time and didn't even realize it. So I'd done the whole sketch in one day, and I was looking at it and I was thanking God, like, God, you did it. I didn't do anything. You blessed me and that it happened.
So the sketch was done with the charcoal or?
Yeah, it's just plain charcoal.
Okay.
I did it with the charcoal.
Yeah.
And then, but see, these kind of painting, the main sketch work is the most important.
I see, that's right. Yeah, the outline. Once you get the outline,
then it's very easy. Because then it's like you're playing within the areas, you can play with the colors, that was within my domain. But to create, like, because any kind of, when you're doing larger than life pictures, when you're doing something like a billboard kind of a size, it is very difficult because you're not used to, you're seeing faces this big. You're doing the line. To fit everything in a harmony is very, very difficult. Because you may draw it and you realize you made it too big. It may not.
I know.
And it took
everything has to be proportionate.
Yes. So I kind of did that, and I remember like telling Alton, like, I'd done the sketches, and he chose one of the sketches and said, Gopal, we want you to do this. We love it. Everybody loves it. But it was not big enough for this side. So I said, Alton, can I include some Indian musicians? He said, yeah, please go ahead. So I kind of took a little bit of Zakir and put it out there, Zakir Hussain.
That's why I see, we see some tabla player here.
And I put like a Bharatanatyam dancer. So I put in some of the Indian as well as, this one like a mandolin, somebody playing.
I see,
it could be or a ektara or whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to do like a composition of everything. Because I don't know whether you know, Air India is trying to come to Houston.
That's true,
he said it could be a great talking point for them that we are already, culture, like, talking about
introducing the Indian culture,
And it will be beautiful because this is, I don't know whether you know, they are expanding the international terminal huge. This will be the biggest, one of the biggest international terminals in USA. So they are going to have a music station out there where they will have live music on weekdays from 2 to 5. And this painting is right out there, like, on D15, gate D15, where Emirates, Qatar, Air France and Lufthansa, all of this leaves right out there. It's an excellent location. Again, I'm blessed to get that prime location out there, and there's the live music going on, world music, and here is this picture.
This is absolutely, it brings the whole thing together, the ambience, create an ambience. So people wouldn't mind sitting there for 2-3 hours.
I did it in December. Already I've got like 25-30 pictures from people who have been to the airport. They're taking pictures, selfies, and sending it. Hey Gopal, like,
So totally, how long did it take you to complete the painting?
So these kind of paintings would take at least a couple of months, to be honest with you, like that size. And Alton told me like, Gopal, can you finish it by Christmas? I'm like, it was hardly any time. And I'm like, I got 20 days. And he said like, well, I've seen you. You are such a go-getter. You kept on going. You didn't give up on this project. You kept on calling me. I know you'll get it done. And I said, okay, I'll give a chance. Again, God's blessing. I could put in 14, 15 hours every single day. It's not possible. When you're doing that kind of, I could finish it in like, I would say 14 days it was done.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And I even had Alton come to my house and said, Alton, can you please come and check this painting? Because, when you're dealing with a painting of this nature, I wanted to make sure that, I'm not hurting anybody's sentiment or emotions or anything of that nature. I didn't want to hurt anybody because, you never know. Because you're such a public, platform. You have to be respectful of everybody's culture, any person. So I told him, please see it and make sure it's up to your expectation. And he said, I love it.
So what kind of challenges did you face doing such a large scale painting for the Intercontinental
Airport? It may sound cliche, but I didn't face any challenge because I had God's blessing and I was in a meditative mode. So everything fell in place. I said, I knew from the very beginning when I was skeptical, I questioned myself, I prayed to God and He said, you know what, everything will be fine. And again, I am blessed that I could do it. Everybody loves it. Everything fell in place in the right way. I couldn't have expected easier.
Could this be a launch pad for like further adventures like this at other places or within Houston Intercontinental Airport?
Could be like, they're going to have this for
I mean, they got
years.
so many terminals and gates.
5 years, like, I'm sure, like, again,
Yeah.
I will leave it to Alton to decide. He's a chief curator. I'm all for it. Again, I could get, because I have a board out there which said with one of my, what do you call those?
Contact information.
Yeah, contact information. But like now you
Yeah.
have the menus where you have the like a slot out there where you can press it and you get all the information.
Oh, I see.
So I have that scan code kind of. So that allows everybody to know. I'll be surprised, or I won't be surprised if I'm getting calls from people from all over the country who wants to do something of that nature. I'll be more than happy to do it.
That's fascinating. And you also mentioned earlier when we were talking about the connection between art and culture.
Correct.
Can you expand on that? Are we basically talking about Indian culture, or are you talking about different cultures across the globe?
Well, I'm talking about culture all around the globe, but I know more of India. Being born in India, and I moved here at the age of, I would say, 22 or so. But the point I'm saying is that we as Indians, I believe, have done exceedingly well. You, like a doctor, you've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
You're a great writer. They're like great engineers. They're great IT guys. You go to Silicon Valley.
That's right. Yeah.
Other person is Indian. Look at the CEOs like of Google and of everyone.
Yeah, they're all Indians.
And all are doing. But if you look at art, we have not really. We're just touching the surface. There is not. Any well-known artist right now still with an Indian origin. I want to be the top Indian American artist in this country, and I want to fill that gap, and I want to bring in, and not only through my art, Nick, I want to bring in through my students. I have I would say, great blessing of God that I could teach so many kids. And I'm passionate of that, and they are all of second generation Indians. A lot of them are. There are other people also, but I am trying to teach them a little bit of Indian art, Indian culture, Indian roots. So even if they become great doctors, I'm connecting them to India. So they go back to India and see. And when they go there, they said, you know what, I want to do something for a bigger cause, greater cause.
Yeah.
And they go there and do it.
I think it's very important because if you look at the Italian paintings and all these things, of course they are reflecting their culture or British paintings, and it's most appropriate for us to highlight our culture because we are most familiar with our culture as compared to anybody else. Tell us, you have any other notable work that you would like to mention?
Well, I don't know whether you know, I did a painting for Neil Bush, for the Bush family.
I see, yeah. I think I remember.
Of Senior George Bush Senior.
Yeah.
When he passed away, I did a painting, and it's right now. I believe it's in Nick's in Neil's Bush house.
I see.
And then I've done a painting portrait of the Texan owner.
I see.
And it's in his museum out there. So yeah, I had the luxury and pleasure and again honor of doing these kind of big portraits. I have two paintings of Mahatma Gandhi at the consulate, Indian consulate, which was inaugurated by the Indian ambassador. So again, it's an honor and privilege again to do.
Plus, it takes you to all these different people and different places and different times, and it's fascinating. I think you're connecting with so many different walks of life through your art.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us about your art gallery and about your school. You like art more than your teaching, or teaching more than your art?
It's a close call. I'm telling you. I love my kids. You can ask any parent, any of my students how much I'm passionate about. They call me Mr. Neil lovingly, and I love these kids. They make my life. I cannot think every day. I wake up at 4:30. I'm sending texts to parents like, oh, he needs an eraser. He needs a pencil. He needs a medium yellow color. He needs a palette. And parents are like, what is this guy doing at 5 o'clock texting about this? So I'm always thinking kids to make a difference. And I have the blessing of God that, I've got my gallery, which is a beautiful gallery. Anybody and everybody, they feel that kind of the energy in that gallery. You've been there, beautiful energy in there. And now I've started doing art exhibitions, not only of my painting, but all my students.
I see,
every
yeah.
other month, I'm doing a little artist show. And I'm kind of showcasing their art so that people can see what amazing work these guys are doing.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Some of them are going to my online classes, some of them are going in person. I still teach online classes. I people all over the country still online. People love my classes because my in-person classes, touch wood, are completely full. There's a waiting list for these classes. So I'm even thinking of adding one more class in Sugarland, which is my gallery. I also teach in KT, so I teach there on Sundays, and then Tuesdays and Saturdays I teach at my gallery.
Okay.
The rest of the days I teach online.
Let's give out your contact information, and if anybody would like to, get in touch with you, or so that...
My phone number is 832-816-3383, 832-816-3383, and my email address is Neil, Neil, Sen, Sen, 65 @gmail.com. Okay.
Thank you so much, Neil. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I mean, it is fascinating. I didn't say a word, but you said the whole story. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're at the Houston Intercontinental Airport, make sure to check out Neil's art, which graces the walls of the walkways. And I am Dr. Nick Nickham, and you have been watching NNN Media. Thank you so much for watching, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you in the next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.